Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest episode number 64. The holy crap, there's a bunch of news. JK, there's no news. Oh wait, there is a bunch of news episode.
Unless
So much.
Unless
So
Unless.
much information. Yeah, true. Unless Microsoft bought all the news and they're like, there's no news because we
Ooh.
purchased
they
it.
maybe they bought. Did they buy the podcast? Can we only report on Microsoft News?
We are now
They acquired all podcasts, actually. Crazy, right?
I will.
True.
7 billion. I'll be your podcast. That's fine.
yeah. I mean, we're now recording from giant mansions. You just can't see it because we're still in the. It looks like the same streaming room. But
Well, it's a
You
transition.
got to
Thank you,
keep it the same. Yeah, you got to keep it the same. Can't let the people feel.
Yeah, paid
too
extra money
alienated.
for the rooms to be exactly the same in the new mansion, right?
Exactly.
Yep,
It'd be
yep,
like
yep.
you know when you have the spy films where like they capture someone, they think they're in their room, but then the walls drop down. They're in the middle of a warehouse.
Yeah.
It's like, hello.
Or you're Captain America waking up after being frozen for 50, 60 plus years, right?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wake up 60 years later. Microsoft owns the world. What is this?
What? What's good to
The
happen?
world is in the shape of a nexus. Oh my god.
So,
Imagine
Bethesda. Well, actually,
Bethesda.
ZeniMax, right? They
And
sold.
Bethesda.
Yeah, but well, I mean, that's the parent's company or whatever
Right.
they worked out a deal
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
Microsoft has worked out a deal to purchase basically Bethesda software, the IPs and all that, which is monumental, massive. I mean, we're
Nice.
talking Doom, Fallout, Skyrim, like massive.
Yeah, that is
Massive titles.
huge.
Yeah, these are
Yep.
officially part of the Xbox Game Studio now with this whole acquiring
Yeah.
type of stuff. And there's huge question marks as to what it means for the future. They said what was it? What's it called? Starlink? Starfield? Is that
Oh,
what it is?
Starlink is Starfield.
Starfield. Isn't it Starfield? Is it Starfield? I
Maybe
thought it was
Starfield.
It's such an average
Star
name
something.
that I forget easily.
I forget. After the
Yeah.
star, you lost me.
Yeah, after Star, I'm like, space exploration something, right? That officially hasn't had any kind of like platform announcement yet. So one of the big questions is, what does this mean for Sony? You know, with all, because these are huge titles, massive titles.
And Game Pass, and they're like, "Hey guys, now we have EA, we have all the games before, and we have all of these games. We have all the games."
Yeah, that is
Game
pretty
Pass.
nuts. I mean, because
Yeah. No, go for it.
no, I was going to say, I mean, because there was the other game as well. Because wasn't Deathloop Bethesda title, which was originally shown for PS5?
Yes.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I heard news that they're gonna honor the PlayStation exclusivity for Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop because they're both PlayStation exclusive games, Bethesda games. So
Awkward.
it's a little
Imagine
weird.
that though. Imagine
but
that.
they-
It's like, okay, so we've purchased you. You can still have your exclusive, but we own you.
Yeah, right.
Thanks.
That is
yeah, they said
interesting.
they're gonna honor the exclusivity. So very interesting.
Yeah. I'd imagine that any of this, if it's going to affect what platforms it's going to be on, would be future titles, obviously, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And the Game Pass thing is just, it's massive. I mean, like, what a crazy deal
Yeah.
to have. Like, I don't know when it's going to go into effect, but basically all those titles that are in the current Bethesda family and all that's out, that's going to be in Game Pass for you to play, right?
Yeah.
The Fallouts,
It's crazy.
Skyrim, Doom, Prey, like that's nuts. Wolfenstein, like talk about value.
Yeah, I
Right
mean
there.
I mean that is the thing. It's like you look at, even though the kind of current debate, the most kind of prevalent debate is like, all right, cool. There's two next gen consoles launching, and like Microsoft has no first party games, or obviously because their big thing was push, which was Halo, versus PlayStation. They're like, all right, we're launching with Spider-Man, Demon Souls, and the third one that I always forget. It's like, all right, cool. On that surface, it's like, yeah, Microsoft is like on the back foot, but you're like, on the flip side, they literally have Game Pass with a astronomical library. And when you think about, like, you know, because you have the two different camps. You have like the people like the super hardcore that like, all right, I want to buy on day one because I want to buy the new games. You're like, all right, cool. You know, fair enough. So maybe for those people, you're like, well, PlayStation might be the lead thing. But when you think about the average consumer, they buy a new console, they just want to play games. You know, like, not to say they don't like the new games, but like for your average consumers, like, all right, you know what, I want to ask for a console for Christmas. It's like, how do I get the most value for it? And you buy someone a console, which you can now buy a Series S for like £250. Like, you can buy that and have Game Pass and literally have hundreds of games. You wouldn't need to buy a game ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except your PlayStation games.
Yeah, exactly, right. But like, that's the thing. If
the
you're not-
value is insane.
Yeah.
It really is crazy. I could pay for Game Pass twice and still feel like I'm getting a good deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And of course, because you can finance the console through Game Pass as well. So you could literally just pay a subscription fee and have a console and all the games. I mean, it is like, yeah, you sure, it's a blow to them not saying like we can launch with like Halo, but like, let's be honest, because also when you think about your average gaming experience, I think it's fair to say that the majority of what most people play are probably third-party games, right? You know, you might like in your handful of gaming, you might play like I don't know, one hand of like first-party games and then just like a massive pile of third-party things. So realistically, for like 75% of your gaming time, consoles don't matter. Like your platform doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
That's
if you
true.
can get that on subscription, I know you can't get everything on subscription, but now that you can get EA games, Bethesda games, Xbox games, that's three giants.
Yeah.
And then there's like individual companies like Bungie who are doing deals with Game Pass as well. So it's not even just the things that they've officially announced. It's like, yeah, these things are always on Game Pass. There's going to be more and more companies that are just like, yeah, put us on Game Pass because you guys have millions and millions of subscribers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Beyond Light's going to be on there along with now all these titles. Like, it's such a good deal. It's crazy. I know some people are like, yeah, but they rotate games in and out. But it's like they're rotating games in all the time, though. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's
How does it work? Because I've never actually used Game Pass. Like, how does it work with the rotation? If you've downloaded a game that was in rotation and it goes out, do you lose that game or do you keep it?
I actually don't know because I haven't even tried that. Because usually I'll play a game on Game Pass, and then when I'm done, I'm like, cool, delete. It's like that's the Game Pass experience for me. I'm assuming you lose it. Forcado in chat says you lose it, so probably that's that's probably the case, is that it just goes out of your library. But I guess if it's a specific game that you're playing all the time that you love, then you probably end up buying it anyways.
Just buy it, right? Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
They also said that you lose it, but you can buy it with a discount, so you can still purchase it if you want to keep it.
Interesting. Yeah.
You just can't play it through Game Pass anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad then, right? You get to play a game for free, and if you really want to keep playing that forever, you then like, okay, I can purchase it at a discount.
Yeah, and also supports the studio too, right? If you're buying it through that system, right? Because I mean, there's that side of the business too. It's like all of this Game Pass type of business model. How much is that going to affect the studios that are making these? Obviously, the ones that are like owned by Microsoft now are in Microsoft's giant cavern of cash. So, they're not really to worry about. But other like indies or whatever, or other game companies that work a deal, like say Bungie works a deal with Game Pass, how much of a benefit are they really getting from Game Pass versus if they just sold copies to people who were excited about it? Like obviously none of us can.
I have no idea how it works.
Right?
I'd love to know. It's very interesting.
Yeah, we're not.
I feel like. I feel like it's two sides to it, right? Because I mean, there's obviously if it was a 1-for-1, if it was like, all right, you can either play it on Game Pass or you can buy it directly. Obviously, they want the direct sales, but I guess I'd be willing to bet that, like, a lot of people that play it on Game Pass maybe wouldn't have been the sort of people that would have bought it otherwise. Because because a lot of time with Game Pass, someone will be like, oh, you know what, I wasn't thinking to get this game, but oh wait, I can download it free. It's like, all right, cool. So I think a lot of that discovery does come through. So maybe you can't look at every Game Pass play as a potential missed purchase because they might have just not been. I don't know. It's, again, we don't really know, but it'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah. Because how's that gonna unfold over the next few years as people adopt Game Pass more and more, and they're doubling down on this business model? I mean, it must be worth it, right, for them to go to the point of buying ZeniMax and all those companies, software companies underneath them, to put that underneath the Game Pass umbrella. And it's also going to be on PC and Xbox for sure with that thing right there.
Yeah, I almost think of it as like, so when Bungie left Blizzard and they had to find a new launcher, obviously we know that Epic pays more money, right? As a developer, you get more money if you go with Epic. But I'm sure they looked at Steam and were like, the install base for Steam is absolutely insane. So maybe it's worth taking a hit to some actual just straight up cash to have that crazy install base. So it makes me think that maybe it's similar with Game Pass, where it's like, you know, maybe you do take a hit. I have absolutely no idea, but the install base is just getting larger and larger and larger every day.
Yeah.
It might also be one of those things where, you know, as games themselves are sort of changing over the years, you know, there are so many games these days that launch with, and I know it's not like everyone's favorite topic, but there's so many games that launch with some kind of microtransaction. You know, some of them are fine, you know, you could just like cosmetic things, but I guess to a degree as well, maybe if it does start to become like a bigger push to you know, Game Pass, then companies can start being like, all right, you know, we're going to take the L on the actual sales, but now we can afford to start pumping more of that stuff into it. So I'm hoping it doesn't mean like just an influx of predatory microtransactions, but at the same time, if they're like, all right, you know what, you're not actually going to buy our game, so we're going to sneak some like costume packs in there, then people are more inclined to buy it. Because if you're like, I actually didn't pay for this, people often think, I don't mind spending £5 on a costume, versus like, I just spent £60 and now you want me to spend another £5.
That's a good point.
So
yeah,
possibly.
Yeah, fascinating. Like, who knows? This is a big question mark right now. Is what's going to happen, and Game Pass is just looking so valuable from a gamer point of view. I think that like you were saying, the typical console gamer is going to be not playing exclusives 100% of the time. They're going to be playing a wide variety of stuff. And the Game Pass, I feel like, checks off so many of those points for like the average console gamer. And especially, like we said this in the past, like a parent looking for what to get their kid for Christmas. It's like Game Pass has all these games good to go. You just have to download them. Such a value right there.
It's crazy value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's almost like Sony now is like the big crazy movie of the year that comes out when they launch, you know, their crazy games that everyone loves, and they know those games are going to sell like crazy. And then Game Pass is like, oh, it's Netflix, you know, there's a show I'm not that interested in, but I can just watch it because I have Netflix already. So it's kind of, they now occupy almost two very different spaces, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely the Netflix model.
I wonder if Microsoft would ever make a change, because obviously right now, like it's like games rolling in and out, right? Like the ultimate power play one day. Like imagine if they made a change to Game Pass where it's literally is like Netflix, where it's like you play whatever game you want in the library. Like the whole library is there. Like you can only maybe like rent like a certain one at a time, or like play a certain one at a time, so they have to keep the rotation going. But like if they made that change, so it's not their rotation thing, but it's just like everything, every game ever is like, that'd be kind of nuts. I don't know whether they would ever do that, because there's probably like a reason behind not doing it. Because I guess the rotational nature incentivizes playing. Because if you're like, oh, I can only play I don't know, Doom Eternal for like a week, I better play it now. Versus if you know that you can play it, like it's the same thing with like Netflix. If you're like, all right, I've been meaning to watch this film, but I can watch it in a month's time, you're not going to watch it. So I guess maybe this model does drive that sense of urgency.
Yeah, for sure. And also, it seems like they stay on there for quite some time. I don't know what the average time is, but it seems definitely like over a month on Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
At least over a month. But I don't know. Like, I think I saw someone say that Red Dead Redemption was in there for the whole summer. So,
wow.
I'm sure if it's a big game, it's going to be on there for a long time.
Yeah. It's not like they're going to be like, hey, on Tuesday, you can play this game. Oh, Tuesday's over. You should have bought it. You know, it's not like, it's not going to be that, you know?
Yeah.
Rational and Chess is 6-month average. So, like, if
That's
you haven't beat
time.
a game in 6 months, were you really planning on beating it?
And if you were, then you could pay for it. There you go.
Right?
True.
Yeah, with the Netflix model, there's so many shows that I've been like, yeah, I'll check this out because it's trending or it's here, and I can see the first episode. If I don't like it, I can be like, whatever, I'm out. And that's exactly what's happening with Game Pass now. There's so many games I just would have been like, I wouldn't spend money on that. But then I'm playing it to try it out, see if I like it.
True. And it's now on your phone as well. Well, if you got an Android.
Yes.
xCloud and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm gutted it's not on the iPhone because I don't have an Android, but alas.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a whole nother mega corporation discussion.
Yeah.
As to why that's going on.
True.
So what's the consensus then on this acquisition? How do you guys feel? Do you think it's a good move for the industry, or is it going to be a problem down the road?
I don't feel like I have the appropriate business sense to understand what it'll be like in the future. In my mind, I'm just like, I mean, obviously on from like a consumer point of view from like gamers, like it's nice to know that you can play games on any platform. So on one hand, it's like, all right, cool. It could be a problem because when you get to the point where, I don't know, Skyrim 6 comes out, right? And then they're like, well, this is only going to be on Xbox. Then obviously PS5 gamers are going to be like, this sucks. I mean, I just buy all the consoles. So for me, doesn't really matter because I'm going to play games regardless. And also, let's be honest, if they're acquiring them, it means they're also going to be on PC. So provided you've either got an Xbox or a PC, you're probably safe.
Yeah.
So I guess the only kind of potential downside would be like if PS5 is going to be your only console and you're like a massive, I don't know, Skyrim fan or Doom fan, then maybe that's going to be a spicy situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I initially was like, all right, because the last time I enjoyed a Bethesda game was Skyrim. So it's been a long time since I've been like, oh well, yeah, Bethesda's games. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But I understand how big of a deal it is. I think what the negative is that Microsoft might end up having just a monopoly on video games.
Yeah.
I've seen some people saying they're concerned about that. It's like you got Sony first party studios, and then you have Microsoft. But I don't know. I think it was really good for the developers. I know that some studios haven't been doing very well recently. Maybe this is the play that actually keeps them in business, being able to create games.
True.
So that's a great thing. I think for at least the short term, it's going to be good for gamers, at least.
Anybody
got Game Pass?
Yeah, anybody planning on getting Game Pass, it's obviously a huge win.
Yeah.
Like straight up on that. Also, PlayStation has been dabbling in what's on PlayStation, and it's also on PC market. Death Stranding, Horizon Zero Dawn, like they've been dipping their toes, seeing what type of reaction they're getting from that stuff, and it's probably going to continue because PC is becoming a massive market that they can't ignore anymore. Or if they do ignore, they're just leaving money on the table at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like Sekiro came out the exact same time for PC. It wasn't even a timed exclusive or anything. So they've definitely been dabbling in just having it released on PC as well.
Wasn't Sekiro on Xbox too?
Don't think it's on Xbox.
No, I'm pretty sure it was
Oh,
on
it
Xbox.
is on Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh, so they brought it everywhere.
Yeah, that was all platforms. Yeah. Just like Dark Souls 3. It was all platforms, or the Dark Souls franchise. Bloodborne has been the only one that's been exclusive. Actually, no, sorry, Demon Souls as well. Because that was originally on PS3.
And Demon Souls is going to be an exclusive still.
Yes. Yeah, but okay, so this is weird. They had that that kerfuffle thing happen.
They did.
Yeah.
Where they're like, it's going to be on PC, and then they're like, no, it's not. Sorry. This is we're firing
They had a whole
today.
trailer that said also on PC, and they took it down and were like, no. Just kidding. Not on PC.
How do you screw something like that up?
I wonder if it's is that a trailer that they were going to release after the timed exclusive is over, and that was in the trailer, and then that makes sense? Or is it like a deal that fell through pretty last minute and they were like, nah?
The thing is, though, like for something like that to get through because I remember when I worked at Microsoft, like for something to get into E3, there are so many stakeholders, so many people have eyes on that thing. Like it is literally impossible for something to sneak through because people have to watch it over and over again. They have their rehearsals. They have people. They have like hundreds of people that will check it. You have legal teams that will check it. You have like the brand teams that will check it. It's like I never understand these situations because I get it. Like, mistakes can happen. Like, for example, sometimes someone can because what might happen is you might make a video and then you hand it off to an agency, and then the agency might be the weak link where they might make a mistake and press a button and then they set it live. But to set something live early, I get that as all right, cool. Maybe that's a slip and the agency have messed up. But to physically say we have a trailer that has been rendered, that has a thing in it that people have approved and watched, I don't know how that happens, because that's like
seriously.
Yeah, it's real weird.
Yeah, that's the exact same. I was like, wait, they screwed up and pulled it, and now they're saying just like that. That just, it makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah,
almost like a last minute change.
Sure.
They were like, actually,
it
no,
feels like
no
it.
PC.
It almost does feel like they were in last minute talks and they were like, nah.
Yeah. I feel like, because especially
weird.
considering at that time they were like playing the sort of, the price game of Microsoft and stuff. Maybe they were like, we don't want to announce it's coming to PC before the pre-orders go live, so people know they have to pre-order their PS5 to play Demon's Souls, and then we'll be like, psych, you could have bought it on PC.
But I don't think they can do that now, right? Because now they've like officially confirmed that it's not coming to PC, and like an official source has said, no, it's all a mistake. It's not coming to PC.
Yeah.
At least not initially. Maybe, in a year or whatever, or 2 years or 3 years. But I have no idea what's going on. Don't know.
Yeah. Super weird.
Exclusives are weird.
And again, it kind of, it adds to this whole like, well, Sony, PlayStation is kind of like dabbling in that, but then it just feels like they were like, oh, actually, no, we need to all in on PS5, obviously. Maybe down the road they're going to start doing more. Like, just, it seems confusing. Where Xbox is like, all right, it's PC. There's the Xbox ecosystem. You want a cheap version or cheap-ish version. The Series S, 300 financing options. Series X is, the big boy. Like, it seems like they're more thinking of which type of gamer are you? Are you PC, casual console, 4K console?
True.
Yeah.
Although, I guess you could kind of say it's coming to PC, because the PS5 looks about the size of a PC. Have you seen the recent size?
It is massive.
Oh my god!
Yeah, nobody's actually got like the physical thing. But did you see that like 3D room mock-up that somebody did?
I did, yeah. Sitting next to a bunch of stuff. It was like a modem, an Xbox, and PlayStation, other PlayStation.
It's like, this thing is, especially when you look at the side, I'm just like, this thing is huge. This is like, it basically is a PC. I'm like, what the hell?
Do you think they overbuilt it because of overheating problems?
Maybe. I said this to someone this morning. I was like, you know what? If I buy that thing and it's that big and it still makes a noise,
right?
There are zero excuses.
God.
Like, there are zero excuses. Oh, my camera.
Dude, that thing is massive. Good God. That is a chunky console. And it's got that like new space look to it, so it's gonna definitely stand out. If you're worried about it standing out before, it's really gonna stand out.
Well, I have a space behind my monitor on my right side that is the decent space that no one can see, so it's probably gonna end up going over there.
Then again, if you love the design, you're gonna feature that thing front and center somewhere in your gaming experience.
If it ends up actually being super limited, you're gonna show that thing off.
That's true, right?
True.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's other stuff in the news that we need to talk about, right?
There is.
Oh yes. Over to you, Eric.
Is it time? Can I talk about Monster Hunter?
Let's hear it.
Capcom were like, hey. In fact, Capcom didn't even say anything. Capcom were just like, hey, we're quiet. Nintendo were like, we got a partner direct, and I found this was kind of funny, because partner directs for the past 2 partner directs have been rubbish. They've been like, everyone's like, oh, it's gonna be a direct, and then it's just like, here's, I don't know, some really not to rag on indie games. So I love indie games, but like, here's some really obscure indie game that you kind of don't want to hear about right now because you're actually really hoping for something else. And then this time they were like, they did a Sony where they just started the direct. They didn't even like wait to the end. They were like, bam, here's this thing. And like, well, first you didn't even know what it was. There's like a dog just running in the field, and you're like, all right, cool. Looks like some kind of Japanese themed game. Starts running through, camera pans up, shoots up this thing. Like, I recognize this music. Cat jumps up. It's Monster Hunter. You're like, what? And that was nuts. And then they went off the wall, because now my guy was jumping through the sky, grappling onto things, flipping up in the sky, doing some madness. So yeah, this for anyone that has missed the trailer and is putting my excitement to one side, is Monster Hunter Rise, which is the next Monster Hunter game coming to Nintendo Switch this time. So we're making a platform switch. Hey, see what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the succession to World?
No, so this is so basically the kind of sort of paint the picture. They've always been 2 Monster Hunter teams.
Right.
They've basically, I mean, the way you can kind of phrase it is that like there's the main series team who do the quote unquote numbered titles, who have done like 4 or 5, and World was effectively 5, and then you have the second team. I don't like to kind of call them like the B team because they do some like amazing games, but they do like the cider ones, which for a while like people were calling like sort of spin-off titles. Capcom don't refer to them as spin-offs or derivatives because they're still just like they're all just Monster Hunter games. They're the same core experience.
It's like Treyarch versus Sledgehammer for Call of Duties.
Yeah, definitely. And I will say like the sort of the second team often do some of the wackier stuff. So Monster Hunter Portable Third was one of the sort of first Japanese themed ones. You had Generations where they introduced styles and arts and stuff. They did like Freedom Unite back in the day as well. So they definitely kind of put the wackiest spin on it. And like Ichinose is the director of this one, and he's definitely you can tell by the trailer the fact that we've already got like a rideable dog. We've got like the ability to grapple using these wire bugs. We've got a lot of these things like that. They're definitely going and doing that crazy stuff again. Which is cool. So yeah, but I would imagine that would therefore mean that like the main series team, because a lot of people were like, oh, you know what, why have they just gone from like their biggest selling IP, which is on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, and gone to Nintendo Switch? But obviously with us being on like the cusp of the next generation, it would make sense that the main series team would then start turning their attention to like PS5 and Xbox. Mm-hmm. Some people were like, well, why don't they just release it multi-platform? But I don't think they could have done, because had they done it multi-platform, it would have looked like a downgrade from, because it looks like an amazing game. But if you put it on PS4 and Xbox One, it would look like a worse version of World graphically. And people would be like, what the hell? Like they wouldn't receive it in the right way. I think it makes sense because Monster Hunter...
Isn't that the reason World wasn't on Switch? Because it just couldn't run on the Switch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And they always say, they said, we're not going to make like a lesser version of World, because then it would be like, here, buy the rubbish version so you can play it on the go. So they definitely do that. And to be honest, I think it works well, because Monster Hunter has got obviously, although it started on home consoles, it spent a large chunk of its life on portable consoles. So it has, for all intents and purposes, made a return, and it's fantastic. It's a game that works incredibly well portably as well. So I'm super excited for that side of it. But then also on top of that,
wasn't the Vita and the PSPs like the big sellers for Monster Hunter World? I mean, sorry, not Monster Hunter World.
PSP, yeah, PSP was the huge one. PSP, because like beforehand it was quite it had some attention obviously when it was first on the consoles in Japan, because obviously that's when there was enough to warrant like future games. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't really till it started going portable that it started to like blow up in Japan. Like it literally got to the point where it was like the biggest game. You would find people of all ages, anyone, like it would be like people from like kids to grandparents that would just be sitting on Japanese trains playing Monster Hunter. That's how big it was.
Amazing.
So it's a huge name, and obviously number wise, World was huge for Capcom, their biggest selling IP, but was considerably smaller sale wise in Japan, where Monster Hunter has always been king, because in Japan, like a lot of their gaming is done commuting and on platforms and things like that. So I'm incredibly excited for that. And they also, but then obviously we'll speak about Rise, but then they also followed that straight up with another one and confirmed that Monster Hunter Stories 2 is coming to Switch as well, which is a massive surprise, because Monster Hunter Stories was a fantastic game. For anyone that didn't play it, it's kind of like Pokemon version of Monster Hunter. You go around, you collect eggs, you hatch these eggs into monsters, and you build them up on your team, and you fight alongside them. Really cool. I don't think sales wise it did very well, the first one. It was on 3DS, and then like they basically also released it on like iPhone and stuff like that. So it's a fantastic game, but I don't think it did that well. So I was very surprised to hear they were doing a second one. And that looks fantastic as well. I mean, that one's more of like a teaser trailer, because that one's further out. The Monster Hunter Rise is March 26th next year. Meanwhile, Stories 2 is summer.
Interesting.
It's pretty soon. Like we're coming up to the end of the year. I was not expecting like here's an entire Monster Hunter announcement for next year. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that. Rise on the Switch.
Oh yeah.
It sounds exciting.
Yeah. It looks so cool.
There's like, I don't know how much validity there is to the rumors about like a pro version of the Switch, but do you think that could line up with, a pro Switch Pro, and they could have like
I feel like it potentially could, because I mean I think I've heard those sort of rumors as well, and people were sort of saying initially like the initial rumors were that like that would line up with like Breath of the Wild 2, which they're also thinking could be in that similar window. But I think that would definitely be interesting, and also quite surprising because a lot of the time when Monster Hunter games come out, especially for portables, they often do like a limited edition console. And they, yeah, I mean, I want it, right? But they didn't announce one for Rise, whereas they did for Generations, and Generations was just a port. So it could well. As someone raised a good point the other day, I think it was like on Reddit or one of the forums or something. Someone was like, maybe the reason they haven't announced it yet is because maybe they're going to do a limited edition version of the new console, which hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah, so, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is like, well, technically, Switch Pro isn't official, so they can't talk about that yet. But maybe they would do like a console Switch Pro edition. You know?
Yeah. That would be fantastic because, you know, if the rumors for the Switch Pro are to be believed, then they're saying you don't have the ability to, and not that I'm really playing that, but they would like the ability to kind of output in 4K, whether it's native or just upscaled, but like whatever, like, you know, 4K. So something playing that on the big screen would still be nice. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah, but I mean, it just looks fantastic, and like from, you know, and again, like it's early days right now. So the trailer initially, like, it had a few little gameplay clips in it. And it had like the typical kind of sort of CG stuff as well. They've got a TGS stream this Saturday where they'll be showing the first like actual live gameplay of it, which will be really exciting. So we'll see more then. But like from the sort of the gameplay, you know, they're definitely kind of doing that like over the top sort of vibrant stuff. I'm quite excited because World and Iceborne, incredible games. They're doing so much for the series. I absolutely love them. But obviously, you know, there's some of the sort of like complaints people that have been playing Monster Hunter for like longer is that in terms of visual design, like weapons weren't necessarily there were a lot of like quite boring weapon designs and things like that. And Monster Hunter has been a game that's always been synonymous with just incredibly over the top, crazy weapon designs, crazy armor and things like that. So I'm kind of hoping that this almost becomes the perfect blend of like old Monster Hunter in terms of like vibrancy and creativity, and new Monster Hunter with all the quality of life changes.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't want to go backwards. Like if you went back, it's just. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're going to do that anyway, because you can already see from some of the gameplay, like you can visibly see some of the quality of life stuff appears to be in place anyway.
It looks good.
But yeah, I mean, it looks so cool. It looks so cool.
That's exciting. Very exciting. So Rise is,
and they've been showing off like the home hub today. They showed off like a village of stuff. So their Twitter account's putting out a bunch of images and little short clips and stuff.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
New Monster Hunter to look forward to in March.
Monster Hunter is such an awesome game to play like right from the beginning when something new comes out in it, because you've got all the new monsters and then you're like, oh, what armor is this? Oh, this looks so cool. And it's just that discovery of Monster Hunter games are really, really fun.
Cool.
Yeah. That's definitely some of the most fun stuff. Like once you hunt your first monster, you go back to the smithy. You're like, what's it going to look like, kind of stuff. So yeah, that's really cool. And the fact that also this one, like a lot of the monsters appear to be sort of taking inspiration from yokai, like Japanese folklore, is actually really cool. You know, we've got like the ones they've introduced so far. There's a kappa basically, and there's like a spider monster. So so if they're dipping their toes into like the folklore stuff,
steeping their tea bags into the
exactly. The excitement has got my tongue twisted. But yeah, that's whew,
very
it's
cool.
Gonna be good. I'm
just
incredibly worried.
Yeah. No, go for it. What's the worry?
Well, my worry is that Breath of the Wild is rumored for March, and this is coming out in March, and they are both my favorite games. Zelda is my number one series, and it's like, and we obviously we know as well as like content creators, normally like a game comes out, you have to play it and then make content at the same time. Zelda is the one series where no matter what happens, I will take a week off just so I can play it as a fan before I even think about videos. But if Monster Hunter comes out at the same time, I won't be able to do that. Oh, please don't do it.
It'll be November again. November is an impossible thing. It's way worse than September last year. This is like, hey, worse. So all these really awesome games that you're incredibly excited about, they're coming out on like the same day.
Especially considering for Monster Hunter, like if anything comes close to Monster Hunter, nothing gets touched, because I'm going to have to make a new series of weapon tutorials. They took me 300 hours last time, that whole series.
Damn.
That's crazy.
They're fantastic. If anybody hasn't checked out, or if anybody's getting into Monster Hunter World right now, just to try things out, I highly recommend checking out Eric's videos, those weapons.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll get some knowledge.
I was watching Eric's video today about Godfall. there was a new
Ooh.
Godfall video
Yeah.
that came out. Eric's has all the juice.
Yeah,
You can't get the juice anywhere else.
Speaking of the November conundrum, right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I was talking to Toma. I was like, I'm probably gonna have to stream like 10 hours a day. We're gonna have to split it in half in order to fit these games in. I'm just gonna have to wake up, get ready, stream, get off, eat, relax, sleep, and just really strict
Keep
schedule.
repeating.
Get lots of sleep, stretch a lot, hydrate. It's gonna be bad.
So, yeah. Well, what happened with the developer interview? It was like 30 minutes, right? Something like that. They talked.
Yeah,
Godfall?
yeah. So I had a chance to speak to Dick Kane, who is the technical producer of Godfall. We had like a chance to chat before, back when we kind of revealed like Hinterclaw, and this one was a chance to speak about mechanics, like combat mechanics, which is something that people have been wanting to like know about for a while, because some people have seen they've seen the trailers, and obviously everything is always like super cut, super fast. So everyone's like, all right, yeah, it looks. There's been I understand as well. There's been like a lot of kind of people saying parts of it look cool, but I just can't quite picture it. So we just sat down and just spoke about like all the different mechanics, things like how weak points work in the game, how like their stun mechanic works, how their finishes work, how the weapon swapping mechanic works. Took a look at a new Valor plate as well. So that was kind of like a half an hour big old interview that goes into some kind of meaty stuff.
Okay.
This was the interview that got me like, the little tingly excited feeling. Got me a little like, ooh.
That day one launch feel.
That day one launch, ooh, I got to play it feel. Because they were talking about, there's so many systems in Godfall from so many games that I like the pairing system. They also have like you could kind of say it's a stance breaking system like Sekiro, right? Where you build it up and then you can do this big attack on them, which is very Sekiro. Sekiro was parrying and like breaking stances to do a big bunch of damage. And they kind of have that mechanic in there, which is really exciting. So I love that. And just hearing that they're really focused on keeping you in the action and being aggressive, and they don't want you to have to sit back and go like, oh God, it takes so much damage. And they want you to be able to really go in there and fight.
Yeah.
Which is also very exciting.
I'm excited about that.
And they've got like a cool mechanic as well, like because some of this obviously we haven't necessarily seen too much because of we don't like to see UI and stuff, but because there's 5 different weapon archetypes in the game, and you can carry 2. So they've confirmed now you can carry 2 of them, and they have this thing called polarity attacks where like when you're using one weapon, your other weapon is charging up. So then if you swap to it once it's charged, you then release this like hugely powerful shockwave and your weapon is powered up. So then you can, and then this is where like all the kind of the cool thing is like the gear game factors into these new mechanics. So you've got you've got your stun mechanics called like breach, where you fill up that bar. You've got your soul shatter. You've got weak points, things like that, and these can all factor into like gear buff. So you might have like, I've got a sword that's got increased breach damage, or a sword that's got increased like polarity recharge. So if you suddenly get like a polarity buff where like you can start filling that up faster, you might be able to be in a position where you can have like almost 100% uptime on like your polarity buff, because you'll be like, all right, swap to weapon, use this for 30 seconds, build up like more polarity, swap again, and then suddenly you've got like a crazy flow going. So it definitely sounds like they've got some interesting the way that obviously there is limited visual customization because the Valor plates keep their looks short of color swaps. But at least in terms of customizing your build, the fact that you've now got, so we know we've got weapons, we know we've got artifacts which can change things, and then when they were talking about like your skill grid, although they haven't shown it, they describe every Valor plate has a different constellation, like kind of like a little sort of cool. I guess they kind of say it looks like this star map sort of thing, but then every single one's going to have a different layout. So one of the Valor plates they spoke about that might say be more tanky will have a lot of green nodes with like a few red nodes. So their potential, although you can still customize it however you want to a degree, their potential is much more geared towards a certain playstyle. And then when you get artifacts, you slot them into these slots depending on the color. So it sounds like there's definitely a lot of kind of fine tuning your builds. But again, because we haven't sort of seen that yet, so it's still
we need to see a skill tree, right?
Yeah.
We need to inspect a weapon and see what it tells us and what kind of variety we're looking at, right?
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, inspect the stats.
The combat is so interesting though. Like learning about weak points, and with the weak points, you don't just expose a weak point and then you press a button. Like you have to actually aim at the weak point. So they've
Interesting,
put in
yeah.
this really interesting like skill to the combat. And I'm sure you can just go in there and you can probably just use one weapon and you can just kind of slash some people and, you know, dodge a little bit and you'll be fine. But if you manage to dodge at the right times and parry and expose weak points and all that stuff, it seems really interactive with how you're fighting.
Cool.
Which has me very excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
November 12th.
Along with Demon Souls and 2 days after Beyond Light. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
No problem.
Good job. Nothing else is going on, right? And then a few days before. Oh yeah, no, 2 days after. Oh wait, it's Beyond Light. Yeah, Beyond Light is 10th, right? Because then
The
they
10th,
moved Valhalla to the 10th, didn't they? Yeah.
The 10th,
You'll get your Xbox pre-order on the 10th. Unbox that baby, right? Start playing Beyond Light on it because you want the console experience, and then 2 days later, be waiting at your front door with the door cracked open so the FedEx guy doesn't run away. You know, be like, "What the hell are you, FedEx guy?" Get your PS4. 5, sorry, not the PS4. You've already sold your PS4. You get your PS5, unbox that, start playing Demon Souls and Godfall at the same time, and load up Beyond Light. So just every 30 minutes,
And then
you keep
have
jumping
Valhalla
games.
on the other screen over there somewhere. Every now and then you hop in, do some Viking stuff.
Unless you're in the UK, in which case you have to wait 7 days for your PS5 to arrive, unfortunately. So now that's the one thing that's kind of annoying because like I genuinely wanted to play Godfall on PS5 because I just wanted to I was like, it's a new console. I just want to I want to play it on console and enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to play it on PC now because my hand has been forced. Like I can't be like, I'm gonna play Godfall 7 days late. Like hell no.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
PC it is for me.
That's true.
So yeah.
That sucks. Because I've had the same feeling where, I have a good PC and I can play most of these games on PC, but I kind of want to use the new console and see how it feels and how it performs. I want to show like how are the load times, how everything look. Like I want to show that.
Like I'm feeling that too. Like even though I'm excited about the 3080 and building a new rig and all that for whatever the next 3 years of PC gaming is, like I really am super excited both for like the Xbox stuff or the Xbox Series S and X and also the PS5 and just having that new console environment experience, like just like seeing the interface, like the loading up the interface screen and like you go into the settings in the shop and all that and hearing like the menu music and all that, like those little things I really appreciate that.
The first time.
Right? Like that's exciting for me. Like I'm
same.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same way. Like I was looking at Godfall, I'm like, I kind of just want to experience that on the console. And I'm also seriously thinking about Cyberpunk as well, because technically they should be on par, especially for 1440p gaming, right? 1440 should be no problem to have like maxed out visuals with ray tracing on these consoles. If they're not, I'm going to be very surprised and disappointed, but I'm assuming that's going to be high visual acuity on there for Cyberpunk. So I really am considering just playing Cyberpunk on a PS5.
Yeah, new consoles are exciting.
Yeah.
I want to see everything they can offer. Yeah, new controller. It's gonna be pooping out some smell vision. Fully engrossed
like,
experience.
Wow, the smell
smells like a city.
Smells like a cyberpunk gang that hasn't showered in 10 days. Hey, speaking of Cyberpunk, they revealed some gang stuff, right? Yeah.
They did.
It's not really much news-wise. It's just like, hey, there's like these different gangs that are in Cyberpunk, and here's how they look all stylized, right?
Yeah. Shout out to the animals, the gym bros. Gotta love it.
I have no idea what I'm going to affiliate towards in the game. Like how they have those three systems of you came from like a corporate background or like a rich background or like you're a thug background type of thing. I think it would be a thug personally. I want street smarts. Yeah.
Street. Oh, okay. I'm going. I decided I was going to go Nomad because Nomad's like the guys that are around. Like yeah.
Oh, that's what it is.
Bad
Nomad. Sorry.
Right? Yeah. I originally like if it wasn't for the fact that some of the guys on the team are going to be playing Corpo. Like I probably would have gone Corpo because it's like, the flashing lights looks kind of cool. The business side, I want to be like the sleek dude, but I'm just going to be Nomad because I respect the family, and I feel like as well. I think so many people are going to go Corpo and go Street Kid, where they they start their life in the city. I want to start out in the desert and then get to the city and then be like,
yeah, you have like a little bit of contrast going on.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. You don't just start in the city, and the city is phenomenal, and of course you want to be there. But having the desert experience first is going to be cool.
Interesting, yeah. It gives you reason to play multiple playthroughs, though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Different storylines.
Multiple playthroughs of this like 80-hour game. Woo! I've got all this time. Let me.
Actually, there was an article on PC Gamer talking about how I'm not sure if they interviewed, but there was some dev talk about how they don't want the game to be as long, the main campaign, as long as Witcher 3, because statistically their completion rate was lower than they wanted. So
yeah.
I don't think that means that the game is going to be smaller, but I think it means that they don't want the golden line to fatigue people in their playthrough, right?
Yeah. And they also said something about like you can complete the game without seeing like a lot of the game.
Yeah.
So maybe that's another thing that they're doing where it's like, hey, if you don't have a ton of time and you want to do a bunch of playthroughs, you can finish it somewhat quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a good thing. Like it historically, it took me a long time to beat Witcher 3.
Yeah.
It was.
I'm still trying to beat it.
It was a few years
on like Game Pass, where it's like, if you play the game for 6 months, are you really going to complete it? I'm like, I feel attacked right now.
Yeah, honestly, I really do not mind people coming out with games and they're like, it's not 80 hours long. It's, a good chunk. I don't mind. Especially story games. I love being able to just play through the story. It have really good pacing. I get to go from start to finish within, a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm totally fine.
I definitely think like as I've kind of like, my sort of gaming exchange, like I love great stories, but I almost feel like as I've got older, or maybe it's just because I just feel like I don't have as much time these days, I want my story. I want the story compulsion.
Compulsion.
I
like that.
the story portion of my game to be kind of short. Like, I feel like my attention. I feel like as I've got older, my attention span is shorter. So if I'm like, all right, this story is going to take me 30 hours. I need to take a break. Whereas if it's like, if I know it's gonna be 10 hours, I'm like, I'm gonna sit down for the day and I'm gonna enjoy it like a long movie. But if I'm like, this story is going to require my mental capacity for the next week, I'll be like, And I find myself like looking away while I'm playing, looking at my second screen, scrolling through Twitter. I'm like, I should be listening to the story right now. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate shorter stories these days, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm just reading on Games Radar about how the version that the PS5 is going to have and the Series X is actually going to be the PS4 or the current gen version, and the upgraded next gen visuals are going to be coming later. How later, I don't know. But if that's the case, and if this remains true and they don't suddenly update it next month or something like that, then I'm definitely playing on PC.
Yes.
100%. Yeah. There's no way I'm going to be playing on PS4 quality.
Imagine the only difference for that then would be that you'd be playing visual quality of the PS4 title, but with the load time of a PS5.
Yeah.
And possibly higher frame rates if they didn't lock the engine to be frame rate locked or whatever. Yeah. But that's after I was like, okay, I have to make sure there's a confirming this. And so maybe, I mean, that could change possibly. Like they might have some stuff happen in October and realize they were able to get the whole thing wrapped up for a PS5 edition or Xbox Series X edition. But I would plan for a PC if you already have a PC with this knowledge right here, because that's
especially if you already bought a 2080 Ti last year, you're good to go.
Yeah, if you got a 2080 Ti, you might as well play it on that instead. Get that ray tracing, because you're not gonna have ray tracing on launch then for the PS5 for this. So the Mighty Tactical in the chat was the one that brought that to my attention. So thank you, Mighty Tactical.
What a name!
What a name, right? What else news wise?
What else was there?
I don't remember what happened between last week and this week. I don't know if if it happened before last week's show, after last week's show.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk PS5 pre-orders on this show because we did talk about it on DCP because it was so new and so recent.
There's the whole PS5 showcase, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Final Fantasy 16 in the PlayStation showcase.
We haven't. No.
Wow.
So
I could not believe they kicked it off with Final Fantasy 16. I almost cried immediately. That show went live, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Just seeing the person's face, I was like, "This is a Final Fantasy game."
Yeah.
What is happening? What is this?
I almost missed that because I was like, in my typical, because most of the time these shows start really slow, right?
Yeah.
And I was busy because I was busy right up until the time, and I was like, it's fine. I was like, I'll be like 10 minutes late to the show because it's like, whatever. And then I was like 5 minutes into it, and then I quickly clicked over. I was like, let me just double check. I was like, wait, I need to be here. I was like, hold on. So yeah, that was that whole show. To be fair, it was literally just like Final Fantasy 16 into like Spider-Man, which looked incredible, into like other stuff which looked incredible. I can't remember what it is.
It's all a blur after Final Fantasy, followed by Spider-Man with gameplay of both.
The Spider-Man gameplay blew me away. It definitely looked very E3 put together. Here's a cinematic trailer, and I still got PTSD over the reflections in the water from the OG, from the original Spider-Man. Damn it! So it looked phenomenal. It said everything was on there, and if it does play that way, it really highlights that crazy SSD technology of just going from cinematic to gameplay to cinematic to gameplay. Like, looks incredible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was nuts.
Isn't that a day one title also?
Yes, yeah. Day one. Although they did announce today, rather unfortunately, because obviously it's a day one title, it's a standalone game, but also my understanding is it expands on the original one if you played that. But they said that the PS4 save file will not transfer to PS5. So if you buy it on PS5, you have to replay the original Spider-Man again if you want to use that.
Shucks.
So, yeah. Good job. I never played the original Spider-Man, eh?
Oh, it was amazing. That's well worth playing.
And it's something else to play on the 12th. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well,
it's true. I did finally get around to restarting God of War this weekend because they announced God of War Ragnarok. So I was like, now I better get this finished.
That was the whole conference was just like, so you're showing off Final Fantasy, Spider-Man. Like, what? God of War. They showed Demon Souls gameplay, which looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just
Harry Potter.
Calm down.
Harry Potter MMO. That's right.
It actually looked quite good, to be fair.
It did look good.
I don't know yet. Like, because again,
because of a certain author.
Well, okay, so that drama, it's like obviously unfortunate, and there's so many people that are working on this game that it's like Ubisoft, like some really bad viewpoints tarnishing a lot of people's hard work and sweat, which is unfortunate. So I do get that, but just on that visual side, just looking at the trailer side, it left a lot of question marks of whether or not that would be fun to play. Like how much it kind of left a bit of a mobile feel to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah.
Like this is a mobile game on your phone that you're going to play when you're doing your business or riding the A train. Yeah. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I like it was more. I think if anything, it was more just the fact that because I remember ages and ages ago there was some leaked footage of the game, so it was more so I was just like taken aback. I was like, oh wait, this game's still a thing. It's not cancelled. I would say there wasn't anything that they showed in that particular video that I was like, oh, I need to play this game. But at the same time, as someone that despite the unfortunate author, like Harry Potter is a universe that I do quite like. I grew up reading the books and watching the films, so I'm interested. But I wouldn't say there was anything in that trailer that made me like, oh, I need to play this game. It's more just like a curiosity piqued.
Yeah, it was It looked like a Harry Potter game that people who are not Harry Potter crazy fans could enjoy because you're making your own character
Mhm.
and you're leveling up your own character. It's just in the Harry Potter world. So, yeah, that was interesting to see. I like that. I like them doing that.
You put on the sorting hat.
Yes.
True.
What do we
Get
have
put into
here?
your least favorite group, and then you just close the game.
It's a filthy warlock. Dead orbit you go to.
It'll be like one of those gacha games where you have to keep restarting the game until you get to the house you want. I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be in Gryffindor. You save. Come on, man.
Oh man.
They're like, that beard is not Gryffindor. They're like,
What
no,
do you
no,
mean?
no.
It's a wise beard. It must be. Oh dear.
Yeah, I don't know.
I swear, as long as I get put in Hufflepuff, if I get put in Hufflepuff, I'm deleting the game. I'm asking for a refund. No.
Yeah, it's a big question mark for me. I don't know. And also there's the political side of it too. So yeah, it's probably one of those that's going to get shoved off for a while if it does come out soon. Although it might be, did it say 2021 for that?
I don't even
think so,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, because I know.
Pretty sure, yeah, I don't, yeah.
Because one thing that we didn't mention about the God of War teaser, which it was literally just the logo, and that was enough, obviously, to get you excited. But they said 2021 on that.
They did.
And I was like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I think everyone was like,
I'm
you
interested-
shut up. You stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested. Does that mean 2021 release, or does it mean 2021 is the next time we'll talk about this game?
I'm hoping
I'm
release.
curious.
It has to be.
It has to be released, right? That would be such a troll move.
Yeah.
2021
Yeah,
will tell you more.
Yeah.
Be like, what?
True.
That would break
You're like,
my heart.
we said 2021. Here's our info. We're about 5 years out. It's looking very exciting.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is,
See you in
I hope the
2025.
world is back to normal by then. Because I want if so, because Sony do cool press trips. I want the world to be back to normal by the time God of War comes out.
Yeah.
The last God of War trip was hella cool, and I want to do some stuff for God of War. So please let the world be back to normal before Ragnarok comes out.
Well, here's the question. God of War on PS4 came out in March, right? March or April? It was a springtime release.
With
feel like-
Monster Hunter.
Are they going to do the
Oh,
same
no.
thing? March, April 2021?
I feel like that would be too soon. I feel like if it was
It's-
going to be March, we'd have to have seen gameplay. We'd have to have seen like a trailer. I feel like just showing a logo is normally I feel like 99% of the time, if you show a logo, it's because you don't have anything to show. There might be like one exception where it's like, well, we're only showing a logo because we just want to tease for now, and then later on we've got like a big like press beat for it. But a lot of the time,
But they already said 2021, though. It's already coming up super quick.
True.
Right?
True.
Also,
I
feel like-
how many more of these are they going to have in the next 2 months? You know, of these like, oh, hey, we're suddenly showing some stuff for 45 minutes.
Yeah, but I would be very surprised if they had a 6-month marketing campaign. I mean, a 6-month marketing campaign isn't too short for like a game normally, but factoring in that like if they don't speak about it soon, like if they spoke about it at the end of the year, 3 months to like, I mean, I don't know. Then again, we're living a wild timeline. Anything's possible. I mean, it could be.
Yeah. With the whole pandemic stuff, I mean, like I could see them delaying this to 2022. They're saying 2021 when in reality, they're like, probably 2022.
True. They could be saying 2021 fiscal, which could be the Q1 2022.
Even worse
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, please don't release it in like a time that's crazy. Please release it
Just
in a good
release
time.
it on the same day as Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, God. Please, no. Wait, did that get a window? Did they say? When?
I don't think so. But they did confirm that it's actually, despite the fact they didn't talk about it before, they did confirm that it is being developed for PS4 and PS5, which people were like, oh no, that means it's going to be not its full potential.
Yeah,
So,
that is a little unfortunate because the AI potential can really be like, you know, curtailed from like what they could do on a PS4.
yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It is, and I guess good for people who are like, I can't get a new console.
Yeah.
So at least they get to experience the new hardware. It is unfortunate though.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that the people they get a huge install base, so of course they want to sell more copies of games to the install base.
Yeah.
But what is gonna get like hurt or not hurt? I'm searching for the right word. You know,
It's gonna be a couple years before we see the full potential of PS5 games.
Yeah.
that's true.
As
Yeah.
people move away and just specifically focus on next gen.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
raw next gen power.
Hmm.
Yes, not just load times, power.
I want to see Uncharted on that raw next gen power. Give me a new Uncharted.
Yes.
Mm.
What else happened to that reveal? So we had Final Fantasy 16, which by the way, they showed a lot on Final Fantasy 16.
They showed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't just like a logo and a face being like, "What's up?" You know, they showed a lot of battle. Wasn't it confirmed? The people working on it, right? Devil May Cry combat developer, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the guy that does Final Fantasy 14, so Yoshi P
Yeah.
is like story man on this, so that's got people like quite excited, and obviously like it's returning to the kind of typical kind of traditional fantasy setting. So
Mhm.
not the modern time. Yeah, looks super interesting. Yeah, I mean it's definitely. I'm so used to with like Final Fantasy. They'll drop like a CG trailer first, or just like a title first, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you can wait for a while." But they were just literally like, "No, have some gameplay,
Yeah.
have a CG, have this." It's like, all right, like
They showed so
Okay.
much, and then they're like, "We're not close to finishing the game, by the way." But I was like, "You showed so much more than like that I expected for being so far out." So
Yeah, right.
place your bets now. What will be out first, Final Fantasy 16 or Final Fantasy 7 Part 2?
That is so depressing.
I'm going to say Final Fantasy 16. I'm placing the bet right now in episode 64. Please return to this in 5 years' time when it comes out.
I think you're right.
I think
Eric's.
you're right. Honestly, I can't. We haven't heard anything about the second part at all, whereas
Yeah.
we've heard about 16. I don't know.
True.
Yeah,
True.
16 might be first.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Oh
yeah,
Final
there
Fantasy
was-
7.
There was also the Devil May Cry Special Edition where you can play as Virgil. That was also shown off.
Hmm.
Oh.
So that's
it's
like
not playable
the-
in DMC5 normally.
Apparently not.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never finished it, so I wasn't sure. Oh, okay.
And did I finish it? Yeah, I don't think I finished it either. Yeah.
So they're doing a special edition of it with him as playable.
Yep.
So that's
Nice.
exciting. It's not just like, hey, here's an edition for the next gen. It's like, here's an edition for the next gen as a special edition. So that's cool.
Will it have a little seal on the front that says featuring Virgil from the Devil May Cry series,
Hopefully.
like the old featuring Dante sticker? I hope so. I really
That
hope
would
so.
be cool.
That'd be very
That
cool.
yeah.
The other thing, because they also showed like Resident Evil thing, which was too spooky for me.
Oh yeah.
But go back
They-
to Demon Souls really quickly. One of the things that I guess they were just doing it for speed, but a lot of people raised the question was like, the guy went through the demo one hitting all the enemies.
yeah.
I'm assuming they just did that because they wanted to get through to the boss quite fast. But it was quite confusing.
Well, he could have been
one shot
spec'd.
everything.
He could have been spec'd and leveled up.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing that I took away from the Demon Souls gameplay was the level of detail with the animations and the lighting effects were incredible looking. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
When they
Like-
showed the bridge with the dragon,
Woo!
and just like it's
Yeah.
it's real. It looks really good.
Oh my god! And then the ray traced lighting with the boss being overhead lit, like the sun or whatever was peeking through the ceiling and lighting the dungeon that way, and like basically ray tracing was lighting that dungeon. I was like, this looks amazing, and the animations. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't wait to play this. This is so good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
November 12th.
and it was kind of like a
I realized,
boring.
whoa.
I was gonna say it was kind of a boring gameplay trailer too, because it was just like boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, like boom, boom, just like it actually felt like an old game and all that, but like just seeing the minutia of detail that was in all that stuff just got me super excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I realized as well afterwards because I always used to get them confused. I thought it was that I'd never played Demon Souls and then I played Dark Souls 1 and didn't like it, but then it turned out Demon Souls was the game that I played because then I remember that boss. I remember dying to that dragon on the bridge, and I remember like a few of the beginning scenes. So I played the first part of Demon Souls, and that was what I didn't like. And then until I discovered Dark Souls 3. So now I'm actually excited to go back to it now that I know that I love the series. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I can't wait.
It's been a long time.
I mean, you got Godfall, you got Demon Souls, and then if you're a Destiny player, you got Beyond Light, all mixed up right there.
All at the same time, essentially. Our raid group's going to be very ready. We're going to roll up. Hi, raid boss.
Maybe Bungie should be kind and just like delay the raid till December, like the beginning of December or something. Give you like a month.
Yeah.
Just be like, Bungie, we want to play some games. We like your game, but we also want to play some other games. Can you please just make the raid?
I'd like to play your game and also other games at the same time, but that's not maybe the best for me doing a raid in a week.
Maybe Bungie will also be playing those games, so they're like, we're going to postpone the raid.
They might just forget to press the button that says like put raid live. And I'm like, oh no, whoops, sorry, I was busy in Demon Souls. I'm sorry. Raid will be live next week.
No raid, sorry, playing Demon Souls. That's ridiculous.
Like, where's Tefty? Oh, he's streaming. What's he doing? He's fighting a boss. Wait, are we supposed to be raiding?
Or is it Godfall? Which one?
He's raiding on his PlayStation. He's playing something else on his PC. It's fine.
Yeah. My goodness. Was there anything else?
I think that was mainly it, to be honest. I think that was all
most of it, I think.
The big news.
They did talk about that PS Now collection. I'm not entirely sure how that works. Is it all the PS5 or PS4 exclusives are going to be playable through PS Now collection?
Yeah, I think
PS5?
so. Yeah, it's like a mini Game Pass. It's basically like you get like all of those. Which is a lot of titles. It's a lot of like big names and stuff. So if you haven't played them, it's cool. But I believe that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you'll be able to download Bloodborne on your PS5 and play it through the collection.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of those like really staple games of the last generation that's going to be there. So if you haven't played any, then it's good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're coming from Xbox, you get a PS5, and then suddenly you have access to all the PS4 games that were exclusive.
Yeah, it does. It does also make a bunch of games available right at launch, even if there's you're not interested in launch titles. Maybe you never played Bloodborne, and you're like, oh, I'll get a PS5. I'll play Bloodborne while I'm waiting.
Yeah.
So it does give you a ton of games to play at the beginning, which is nice.
Yeah.
Well, the Game Pass is giving you the entire gaming world.
Game Pass is like, how about all these? Look at this fat stack of games. Crazy. So who's pre-ordering a Xbox tomorrow?
I think Tomo definitely is.
Yeah.
So we will have an.
I'm just doing it because obviously I want to make videos on it. But like, yeah, if I wasn't a content creator, I wouldn't buy an X. Not because of any other reason, but because I got a PC. I'm like, I literally don't need it, and I don't see myself short of like unboxing it and testing it out and checking out like the console experience. I don't see myself playing any games on it in the short term. I will use it eventually, like when Halo comes out and things like that. But yeah, I'll get one. I'll get the Series X.
We're getting it for our sound system because our sound system does not work on PlayStation 5, but it does work on the Xbox Series X.
Really?
So we are probably going to be watching anything that supports it on Xbox, because normally we use PlayStation to watch, Netflix and Amazon shows and all that stuff. But we're probably going to be using the Xbox for that now.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I definitely plan on pre-ordering. Yes. I'm most likely the Series X. For the longest time, I was like, I don't know. But now I'm kind of like, I do want both. Because,
I kind of want a Series S as well, but
both?
I don't need it.
You gotta get.
I kind of just, yeah.
You gotta have a big giant phone, right? The big phone version.
Just be like, it means if I get a Series S, maybe I get a direct line to Phil Spencer. We're like, hello, can you give me some games?
That's what the
big button is. You press the button and you like connect to Phil Spencer or something.
the Xbox
Bought
Direct
any
Connect.
bought any new companies today, Phil? How's it going?
What's on the list? What's on your short list for buying right now? What companies?
What are you window shopping?
Yeah.
I press the Series S button and it buys whatever company comes up in the lottery. Oh look, we bought Sony. PlayStation is now part of Game Pass.
You're like, okay, now you need to calm down. This is looking a little creepy.
This is now really looking like a monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exciting. Lots of stuff. I wonder
Lots of stuff.
what the hell is going to happen next week, because didn't expect. Well, I expected to talk about the PS5 stuff pre-order, but not all this other stuff that came out.
Well, next week we'll have more Monster Hunter to talk about because there'll be gameplay.
Ooh,
So we do another Monster Hunter special.
The Tokyo Game Show is happening, right? So we'll be getting some info.
Also, Genshin Impact. Is that going to be out by next
Genshin Impact. Listen, I might call in sick next week. I'm just saying.
Is it on a Monday that it gets released?
It was releasing next Monday.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah, why Monday? What a weird day.
I don't know. China, man.
True.
Is it the anime boobs?
Kind of different.
I think it's the anime boobs, isn't it? That's what made them do it on Monday.
Must be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be.
So I think you can play it like Sunday night.
Really?
But I don't know the exact time that it comes out. Actually, if you Google it, I think it says the exact time.
Maybe we should do next week's episode of SideQuest inside Genshin Impact.
Genshin Impact, yes. Let's do that.
We could do that.
We could do that.
We got to convince Brian.
I want to know when the Nintendo Switch version comes out.
Yeah, I don't know when
that
that's
next week
coming
as
out.
well?
Maybe. What does it release on? I know it is coming on Switch, so maybe it just releases on Switch. And there's cross-play between everything except Sony stuff.
Because Sony?
Because of course.
Of course.
So if you're playing on your phone and I'm on my computer, we can play together.
But if you're on a PS4, get the hell out. Take your stinking toys next door. I don't want none of that. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
You played the Cod Beta, right?
I played for an hour. Yeah.
Oh, anything interesting of note, or is it just more COD?
It's more COD. I would say if you're someone who enjoyed the older Call of Duties, this one's going to be more tolerable for you if you haven't enjoyed anything recently. Like the time to kill is really good. I like the time to kill, but it's
this year's Call of Duty, more tolerable.
More tolerable than recent.
What a tagline.
Yeah, that's basically it. If you like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, it's a pretty solid Call of Duty, but it's not like the good old days.
Huh. Yeah, that's about what I expected.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah, nothing particularly new. The time to kill is really good though, and I do like the health bars. The health bar UI is nice, and the time to kill is nice.
How about the maps?
The maps are terrible.
Terrible.
There was
Call of Duty
one.
maps.
There was one in the beta where I was like, it's pretty good. But they were just, yeah.
Is it the same problem where there's just like a million windows from every different angle? So you like have no, like the flow is always weird.
Yes. Yeah. I so many times I was like, see, this is why I like Destiny. There's no windows. Mm-hmm. People don't just sit up here in these windows. People see windows and immediately like, I'm going to the window. Yeah. I'm going to be here until you move me. And it's very annoying.
Yeah, I feel like the problem with a lot of CODs is like they'll have 6 different angles that you have to watch, and it just makes it exhausting. You know what I mean?
Oh, and snipers are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So I was wrong about the crossplay with Genshin Impact. It's crossplay with everything, but you can't cross save to PlayStation.
Oh, so
you can cross save to PC, to your phone, to if you want to do that.
So if you're on PS4, you can play with people on phone and PC and all that.
Yes, you just can't cross save to it.
Okay, well that's better. I think I'd rather have cross play than cross save personally.
Yeah, I love both. I'm actually like kind of impressed that they have both because there's not a lot of games that come out with both right away. It's either crossplay or it's cross save. Mostly crossplay. So it's really nice to know that I can, stream it on PC and then I can like hop on my Switch and play it.
Yeah.
and still have my same account. It's nice.
It feels like it's because there's infrastructure that has to be built to connect the fact that if you're on PS4 or Xbox or PC, there has to be some centralized thing. And I don't think that's standardized in the industry yet. So if a company does that, they have to build their own, like Bungie, what they did with the cross save. They had to, it seems like anyways, they had to build their own transfer system. So every company that has cross save right now has to build their own transfer system, which is a lot of overhead, a lot of admin
That's
work.
where the thing is, where you have to make an account. I know people are like, oh, I have to make an account for this game. It's like, well, if cross save is going to be a thing that exists, you have to make an account so that your character is with that company. It's not just, you don't just load up PlayStation and then there's no way for you to get it on Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Impossible.
Yeah.
So expect to have a lot of passwords, a lot of emails to remember, usernames.
Yeah, I suggest
for all of these cross save accounts.
I suggest password is your password. It's highly unlikely because everybody knows that's an easy password, so it's the least likely one to be the password at this point. Yeah,
it's true.
That's your tip. That's your security hack of the day.
Password 123.
Yeah, when the most obvious becomes the least obvious, choose the most obvious.
You'll never guess it.
I think that wraps up episode 64, right?
That is it.
It does. SideQuest
complete.
Bling, bling.
Nice. Well, Briar wasn't here this week because he was busy getting dry rubbed for the barbecue.
It's a week-long dry rub process. It's kind of like a ritual. It's a little spiritual, if you ask me.
Yeah.
He's going through a process. He's processing.
He finally gave in. So that's going to be a delicious side quest next week. Can't wait.
Yeah, he's getting, you got to shave him first. You got to get rid of all the little bits of hair, and then you got to do the rub. So it's a very long process.
My goodness.
Oh my god. Shout out to our Twitch subs and Patreon members for supporting the show. We thank you very much, guys, and shout out to everyone watching live and on YouTube and on the podcast places. You guys are awesome. If you want to find more of me, you can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. Catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. And yeah.
I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can catch me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts. Next week, of course, is Genshin Impact starting up. So this is the beginning of our gaming time.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting.
Definitely. You can find me over on youtube.com/Arix Gaming, where I'll be speaking nonstop about Monster Hunter because that's all I want to talk about at the moment. Because Monster Hunter, yeah. And come to my Twitter for more Monster Hunter gifs. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week and DCP this week and all them stuffs. Bye, everyone.
Bye.